We're first going to look at how to log into Geni and what to do if you forget your password. First, navigate to the Geni login page by typing into the search bar at the top of your browser geni.leadershipacademy.nhs.uk/login. When you first arrive at the Geni login screen, you'll be requested to enter the email address that's associated with your Geni account and your password. The email address will usually be your NHS email address, and the password will have been emailed to your login email address when you were first set up with an account. If you haven't yet received your password, please do check your junk or spam folder, as it does sometimes end up in there. If you're unable to find your password or you just can't remember it, please click Forgotten Your Password. Type in your email address and then click Submit. This will then email the email that's associated with your Geni account with details of how to reset that password. Again, please do check your junk or spam email folder in case it ends up there. The email itself will be from noreply-geni@nhs.uk. Now that you have your login details, simply enter the registered email address into the email address box, enter the password into the password box, and click Login. This will bring you to the Geni home screen. So now that you're logged into Geni, the first screen that you will see is the home screen or dashboard. This holds some useful information such as forum messages, and there's other messaging functions for trainees in here as well. Depending on how Geni has been set up for you, there may be some differences in the appearance of this setup. From the home screen to the left-hand side here, you'll be able to navigate to different areas within Geni. The main areas you will need to be familiar with are My Profile, Users, My Trainees, and Information Zone down to the bottom here. We shall be going through each of these in more detail as we go through these sessions. There's actually two ways of accessing the Information Zone, either by clicking in the menu to the left here, or by clicking to the top. You can see there's a little icon in the top bar there. To return to the home screen at any time, click the home icon or the dashboard icon, which is again in that top bar, as can be seen where my cursor is. You can also edit the appearance of the dashboard by clicking on Edit Dashboard at any time, and you can add or take away some of these bits of information. So we're now going to look at the My Profile page on Geni. So if you navigate to the left-hand menu and click My Profile, this basically brings up any information directly related to yourself. So it will have your name, it will have your email address, and other details should you wish to enter it. If you do want to add in additional information, please click on Edit Your Profile. And update with phone number, organisation if you wish, and so on. It doesn't have any information about ESR. That's more for the trainees' benefit, I believe, in the future. We would recommend, if possible, if you could add a phone number, that would be fantastic, because it does mean that we've got all the contact details together for if anybody needs to make contact regards to one of your trainees. Towards the bottom of the screen here, you'll see Your Trainees section. So this is any current trainees that an individual is responsible for, either a program placement manager. They will be listed here, and this is how you can, one way of accessing their account on Geni. If you are a first placement manager, there will also be a section above here saying Placement 1 Trainees. So in this example, this particular manager is a placement manager for a second year trainee, so somebody in their second placement. They're also a program manager for a trainee, and as you know, program managers are responsible for that trainee throughout the full life cycle of the scheme. So there's a couple of ways of actually accessing the information for the trainee. First of all, you can just click directly on their name, and that will take you to their profile page, if you like, their user page, and it should have all of their contact details in. And this is the page where you would go in and access when you need to look at their competencies, sign off any annual leave, do the performance reviews, and so on. And you can do that through this drop-down menu to the top right. And we will be covering that in much more detail later on through these sessions. What you'll also see in the bottom half of the screen here is all of the other managers or localized leaders that are associated with a particular trainee. So again, in this example, you have a program manager, the placement 1 and placement 2 managers' details will be in here. And then you have the localized leaders, and these typically are GMTS staff members relating to the specific region. So these are relating to the Southwest. Obviously in the Southeast there would be different names, or the Northwest, Northeast, London, etc. And again, by clicking on any of these names, it will take you to their usernames, user records, sorry, and any contact details that they may have on there as well, should you need to get hold of them. To then return to your profile, simply click My Profile again in the top left menu. You can also quickly access an area of a trainee's records, should you wish. So to the right-hand side of their name, there is this little view drop-down box. So by clicking on that, you can very quickly just jump straight to their competencies. So you can sign off some of their competencies, any annual leave, performance review page, and so on. So that's an alternative way of going directly to those areas on those trainee records. To return to the dashboard, simply click Dashboard in the left menu, or again in the top menu bar, click the Dashboard button up there.
Hi, this is a video walking you through the profile section of your Geni account. So when you first log in to Geni, you'll be taken to the main dashboard. If you want to navigate to your profile to see the details there, you simply click the My Profile tab on the left-hand side of the screen. This will take you to the details of your profile. So you have the first section here, which is your personal details. When we first set up your account on Geni, it'll only be the basic information. So we've got first name and last name here. I'll show you how to add more information to your profile in a second. The second bit here is contact information. It'll only be the email address by default, and this is what you use to sign into your account. At the bottom of the screen here, we've got a list of any trainees assigned to your profile. So these are trainees that you are either a placement manager for or a program manager. So you can see this profile here has a placement 1 trainee, a placement 2 trainee, and is also a program manager for a trainee as well. And from here, you can navigate through these trainees' profiles. So if you're looking to update their competencies, complete a probation review, you can navigate to these from here. We'll show you how to do that in another video. If you want to update any of the information on your profile, which we definitely recommend you do, you simply click the Edit Your Profile button in the top right-hand corner. So you can add a profile photo here. You can update some of your personal details, so your title, you can add a middle name, you can update your gender, select which organisation you work for, your job title, assignment number, and a little bit about you, so maybe your work history, how you're involved in the scheme. You can also update your contact details and account information. So there's a link here to change your password if you'd like to do so, so you can change that here. You can also add information about your work address as well as a contact number. I would definitely recommend adding a contact number. It's really useful to enable trainees to make contact with you, as well as Leadership Academy staff. And then finally, you can edit the main dashboard, so you can add some more widgets on if there's things you're interested in, as well as remove some of them if you don't want as many on there. Once you're done with updating all the details, you simply click Save, and that will update everything for you. You get a little notification at the top here just to let you know that the changes have been saved. And that's the My Profile section.
So we're now going to take a look at the User tab in the left-hand menu. We've already seen how you can access your trainee details through My Profile, and the User tab actually allows you to search all Geni user profiles should you ever need to find someone or check something off. So as you can see, once you click on the User tab button, this brings up a page with a long list of everybody that's currently registered on Geni. Now you can do a quick search, so let's go to a record, type their name in the search bar at the top, click search, and it will bring up a list of associated records. So now if I go into one of these and open it up, you'll actually be able to see some details of that user along with any linked trainees. So it's a good way of checking if you've got a placement or program manager in your region that you want to check on to see which trainees they're looking after so you can link up. Then that's a good way of doing it. One thing that is worth pointing out is in the personal details section, depending on what you have already put in, this information will not be available to other users. So whatever if you put in a phone number or another email address or organization, etc., a lot of that information is anonymized for data protection purposes. The only people that would normally be able to see it are Leadership Academy staff and the trainees that are linked to your record. So please be assured that there won't be any personal contact details shared beyond those that require it. To return to the main user search function, click again on the user icon on the left menu. And you can do other searches as well. So you could do a search by specialism to pull up all the specialisms. You might want to do a search by intake year. You can search by user type, so that will be manager, trainee, so on. You could search by the region or indeed the cluster as well. To help filter your search results, and that may be beneficial to find out what trainees might be in your region, so for when maybe formulating your orientation plans to link in with other managers, that sort of thing. To return to the dashboard, as before, click on the dashboard button on the left menu or the little home dashboard icon in the top menu. There are two more pages within Geni that I just wanted to quickly highlight for you that you'll probably find quite useful. The first is the My Trainees page, which is again navigatable through the left-hand menu. My Trainees simply summarises the trainees that are registered to you as a manager. Very similar to the information that you'll find in My Profile, and this is really just an alternative way of accessing their records. So as you could under the My Profile tab, you could quickly jump to relevant sections for an individual trainee, such as competencies, performance reviews, etc., using the drop-down box to the right-hand side of their name, or alternatively just click on their name to take you directly to that individual's record. And again, you could then use the drop-down box at the top right to access competencies, annual leave, and so on and so forth. So this is purely just another way of viewing the same information and accessing the same information as you would have done using the My Profile page. The final section to flag at this particular point is the information zone, and that's right at the bottom of the menu or to the left, and also, as I mentioned earlier, you can access it using the little book icon in the top menu there as well. So click on this to access the information zone. As you can see, there's a huge amount of information, documents and policies contained in this section. Each folder contains documents obviously relevant to whatever that folder is related to. It is an extensive library, if you like, of information. It's available to both the trainee and to their managers as well. And this contains things from a list of competencies for each of the work streams. There could be education dates. There's individual specialism information, so for example, finance, human resources, policy, strategy, and so on, which may be of use to you, as well as all of the policies and procedures that the trainees need to be aware of and need to be familiar with from both NHS and specifically being a trainee as well. And again, it would be really useful for you as a manager to be familiar with some of this information as well. So please do have a look through this if you get a chance. We will be covering the information zone in much more detail later in this session. So for now, I shall be returning to the Geni dashboard by selecting the home icon in the top menu.
Hi, this is a video for how to view and update your trainees' annual leave requests in Geni. Trainees submit annual leave requests on Geni and not systems like ESR. The Geni system won't notify you once your trainee has submitted an annual leave request, so they will need to notify you separately, whether that's via email or in person. To view your trainees' annual leave requests, you click on the My Trainees tab on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see all the trainees assigned to your account, so those that you're a placement and program manager for. To view a summary of each individual trainee's annual leave, you use the drop-down box on the right-hand side of the screen here and click on annual leave. So you'll be able to see a summary at the top here of their entitlement split by financial year. So you can see here each of the next 3 financial years, and you can see the trainee's total entitlement for that year, which will be updated and added onto Geni by the National Leadership Academy. You can also see how many of those days that they have used and have been authorised to date, and you can see how many days they have remaining after those days that have been used. The request that the trainee submits for annual leave will show up at the bottom here under the leave requests. So you can see a summary here of the date the trainee has requested annual leave from and the date to. You can also see how many days that will have. So it automatically calculates this based on a 7.5 hour working day from Monday to Friday. So you can see here this trainee has requested leave that goes over a weekend, and it's automatically taken out days for the weekend. So there's only 5 days rather than 6. You can also see the status of that leave request, so whether it's currently in draft, in which point the trainee is not ready to have that approved yet, or whether it's been submitted to manager, in which case you can review and either authorise or decline it. To view more detail for the annual leave request, you can click on view here, so you could see any comments about that leave request. So it could be that they've put that it's for a holiday abroad. To edit it and update whether you've approved or declined it, click on the Edit Leave Request button in the top right-hand corner. And then in the authorization section at the bottom here, click on the status drop-down and then select the most appropriate. So if you've approved it or if you're declining it. You may want to add any comments here. So particularly if you're declining the leave request, put perhaps the rationale for that in there. Click save, and that will then update it on the summary page. And that's how you update annual leave requests on Geni. Hi, this is a video for how to view and approve your trainees' absence requests on Geni. So you log into Geni as normal and get taken to the dashboard. When a trainee submits an absence request, whether that is sickness, special leave, compassionate leave, it should be inputted via Geni and not systems like ESR. It won't notify you that they've inputted an absence request, so they will need to let you know separately. To view your trainee's absence, click on the My Trainee tab on the left-hand side of the screen, and you'll see all the trainees that are assigned to your account that you're a manager for. You simply click View on the drop down on the right hand side of the screen and click on Absence. So you'll then be taken to a summary of all the trainees' absence requests. So you can see here the date the request is from, so when it started, date to, how many working days is that, and Geni automatically calculates that based on a 7.5-hour working day, Monday to Friday. A summary of the reason and the status, so it could either be in draft, in which case there's no action required from user manager. It may be already approved or declined, or it will be submitted to manager. If it's submitted to manager, that means it needs action from you to either approve or decline that request. To view more detail of the absence request, you can click on view under the action column and you can see further detail. So any comments the trainee has put against the request. To authorize it or decline it, you click on edit absence button in the top right hand corner here. This will allow you to authorize it down the bottom here, so in the authorization section, so you can change it in the drop down box to either approved or declined, and you can put any comments here. So particularly if you're declining the request, you might want to put some comments here, or any notes that you have. And if it's a long-term sickness, you can select whether you've received a medical certificate. Once you've updated all that, simply click save, and that will then update the status here, so you can see it's coming up as declined in red. And that's it. That's how you update your trainee's absence. Hi, this is a video showing you how to update competencies on your trainee's profile. So when you first log into Geni, you'll be taken to the main dashboard. There are two ways that you can navigate to the competency section of your trainee's profile. The easiest is to click on the My Trainee tab on the left-hand side here, and you'll see a list of all the trainees that are assigned to your profile. So these are trainees that you're either a placement or a program manager for. On the drop-down box on the right-hand side of each trainee, you can click on Competencies, and that will take you to their competency summary page. The other way you can do this is through the My Profile tab on the left-hand side. So if you scroll down, you see a very similar looking screen here with the trainees assigned to your account, and you can do exactly the same thing. So when you first click on the competencies, you can see a sort of RAG summary of the trainee's current progress in the top right corner here. So you can see in red, we've got the percentage of competencies that have not yet been rated, so there's no score against them. In amber or orange, we can see those that have been partially achieved. So the trainee's made some progress against that competency, but hasn't met the required target. And in green here, you can see those that have been fully achieved. So these are competencies where the trainee has either met or surpassed the target. In terms of how you navigate through the competencies, you can either simply click on a section like this, and that will take you to the first subsection. And then if you scroll down, you can simply go through the pages by clicking next subsection. The other way you could do this is by using the jump to subsection drop down on the right here. So if you know that there are competencies to be updated in a certain subsection, you could use this. As you can see, there are 7 main sections that the competencies are broken down into. So you've got section 1, personal qualities, working with others, managing services, improving services, setting direction, creating the vision, and delivering the strategy. So if we look at how you sign off a competency, if we click into section 2 here as an example, so you can see this is the title of the subsection here, so developing networks. And then below that, we have the specific competencies themselves. So you've got the reference code here, so 2.1.1, and the competency is understands the culture and structure of the organisation and the wider NHS and identifies and develops effective collaborations with others outside of their immediate team. To the right of the competency is the current rating and the target there at the bottom. So the target is the required level that the trainee has to achieve for that competency to be signed off. And to give you an idea, so a target of 1 would require either awareness or knowledge of a topic area. So it could be completed through reading, through some research, maybe talking to someone in that area. A competency target of 3 is something that the trainee has practical application of, something that they could do. up to a target of 5, which is something that requires leadership, so something that the trainee can do competently as part of their leadership repertoire. Below the competency, there is space for the trainee to input evidence of how they've achieved that competency. And you can see here there are also framework examples. These aren't necessarily the only ways that competencies can be signed off, but they're just there to give you a guide of the types of things that may be suitable to sign off this competency. As a rule of thumb, we would suggest trainees inputting no more than about 200 words per competency, so a sort of longish paragraph. Some may require more information and some less, and that's absolutely fine. But this sort of level is quite good. And then below that, we have got space for the managers to input comments against that, so to provide some feedback on the trainee's evidence. So if you wanted to update this, you'd simply click into it. You could add more evidence here or add feedback. And then below this, you can see that there is a rating scale of 1 to 5. And simply rate where you think that trainee is currently at for that competency. So you can see here, if we rate them as a 1, which is below the target of 3, this comes up as a red cross in the rating box at the top right corner here. So again, when we go back to that main screen, that would be counted as a partially achieved competency. As soon as we put the trainee at the target level, you can see it turns green at the top here and we get a nice little tick. Obviously, if the trainee is more competent in that competency and you want to rate them at a higher level than the target, please do so. That's really fantastic feedback for trainees, but there's no sort of extra credit. It doesn't change the overall percentage of competencies achieved. Once you're done, simply click update and you can see it saves itself there. Please note, if you do rate a trainee at kind of below the target level and update it here, there is the option of a subsequent manager updating that at a later time. So say the trainee makes some progress but doesn't quite meet the target in placement 1, but then progresses that in placement 2. A second manager can come into Geni and add additional comments and also change that rating. Some useful hints and tips. Once a trainee has added evidence against a competency, a little flag pops up in the left top corner of the competency. If the trainee clicks this, it creates a flag for it, and you can see if I go to the main section here, it also flags it directly underneath that section. And this is a really useful way to kind of notify you as a manager of what competencies need looking at and need reviewing. The only section that is different is section 1, which is personal qualities. So the guidance is that this section is completed towards the second year of the trainee's time on the scheme, because it's about qualities that are quite personal to them. It does not have a 1 to 5 rating. It is simply a pass or fail. So you can see here it's simply an achieved or not achieved tick rather than a 1 to 5 scale. And there's also no space for the trainee to input evidence against it. There is some flexibility in how the trainee provides evidence. You could ask them to submit a reflective journal. You could have a conversation about it. It's up to you locally how you would like to do that. But there is space for both a first placement manager and a second manager to input comments against it. So really similar to how it was on the previous screen. You add your comments in here. You click achieved down here and update, and you can see that changes in the top right hand corner there. Another useful bit of advice is that the competencies can be downloaded as an Excel spreadsheet. So if you use this export as CSV button in the top right hand corner, this will pull down a full spreadsheet of the competencies, including ratings, current progress, trainee comments and manager comments against each one. And you can obviously filter out those that haven't been achieved. You could filter out those at a certain level. So if you're looking to focus on only competencies that require a target of 1, you could do that by exporting them as a spreadsheet. Although please note, this does pull down 2 sets of competencies from Geni, so a version from 2011 and a version from 2017. Please ignore the 2011 competencies. They are the older, outdated ones. That is the competency section. There is some more information on competencies in the information zone. which we go through in another video. But if you want further guidance, please click on that and you can find a PDF version for each specialism with all that guidance on it. Hi, this is a video of how to complete probation and performance reviews for your trainees on Geni. So when you first log in to your profile, you'll be taken to the main dashboard. From here, you need to click on the My Trainee tab on the left-hand side of the screen. You'll then see all the trainees assigned to you as a manager, so whether that's as a placement or program manager. Both placement and program managers have the ability to sign off probation and performance reviews. It's a local agreement about who and how these are signed off. Both placement and program managers should be able to contribute to these, and you may even want to do them together. So let's go into one of the trainees' accounts. So simply click on the drop-down box to the right of the trainee whose reviews you want to view and complete. You can see here we've got performance reviews, so click on that. You can then see all their reviews across their 2 years on the scheme. Unfortunately, these aren't in date order, so you have to do it by the date kind of linked to each review. So in the first year of a trainee's time on the scheme, they are on probation, which means they have more frequent reviews. So there should be one in their first 4 weeks of being on the scheme, which is an introductory review. So you can see here, this is of March 2021, as this trainee started in March 2021. And then there should be a review every 2 months following that. So the next one would be in May 2021, then July 2021 and September and so on, up until the final probation review at the end of year 1, which subject to successful completion of all the criteria, which is all reviews being signed off and the trainee having achieved the required level of competencies and have completed all academic assignments, the trainee will be eligible for a pay award. To complete a review, so let's say we are doing the introductory probation review for this trainee, you simply click on Start under the Actions column on the right-hand side here. You may decide to do this while sitting with your trainee. You may want to do it separately and then bring the comments that you've inputted into the review to be discussed with the trainee. You may want to ask your trainee to send you some feedback before completing this. It's up to you locally, but it's definitely worth capturing that feedback and that review here. As with all appraisals, this is a prompt for a conversation, and it is the quality of that conversation that's important. So this acts as a form essentially. So you click and put in the meeting date and time here. So let's say we did it at 9 AM. Click submit, the location and who was present. So again, if you're doing it with both the program and placement manager, you may want to detail that. And then you can see we've got various different sections here in the review. So the first one, section A, is performance objectives. And you can see some guidance in grey and italics just below this. So work objectives should be set and reviewed by the placement manager, supporting the trainee in gaining experience of working in large complex environments. The objective should outline what should be achieved, including indicators of success and timescales for achievement. So if this was an introductory probation review, it may be about setting those objectives in the first instance, and then the next review would be about reviewing progress against those objectives. So there's space here to input some comments. As a rule of thumb, no more than about 200 words, so sort of a good paragraph. That should be the sufficient level of detail and feedback for the trainee. And then once you've inputted that information here, you then click whether there has been satisfactory progress against the work performance objectives. So if you click no here, you see you get a red cross in the achieved section. If you click yes, you get a little tick here. Scroll down and do much the same with the other sections. So section B is competencies. Training has 100 competencies, give or take, to complete across the lifetime of the scheme, and there are various targets as to how many of those they should have achieved at different points throughout the programme. So this can be a space to kind of record progress against those. In an introductory review, you may want to capture the sections of competencies you expect the trainee to be completing. So it may be that you want to focus on section 2 about managing services. And again, the next one may be more about tracking the progress against those. You may want to outline any bits of work that the trainee will be doing in placement to support the competency achievement here as well. And again, you just tick off whether there's been satisfactory progress against the competencies. Conduct, so trainees are on a leadership development programme and they should be striving towards high levels of professional and personal conduct. They are representing the scheme, and in the information zone we've got a NHS Manager's Code of Conduct. So again, you may want to put some feedback and some comments against that and mark whether or not the trainee is making satisfactory conduct against that section. The next one, section D, is attendance expectations. So this is, if you're doing an introductory one, you may want to outline what the expectations are about turning up to meetings on time, about what to do if they need to cancel a meeting, etc. And then subsequent meetings, just updating on how they're doing against that. Last one, academic attainment. For this one, you might want to take a look at our video on viewing your trainee's academic record section. This is a conversation around how the trainee is doing on their academic programme and any support they may need in the placement with you. Again, so I'll take that off. And then finally, section F, personal development and continuing professional development. In the introductory review, you may want to outline what the trainee's personal objectives are. So maybe that's about developing their confidence, building relationships with the team, learning about the NHS, and then updating those obviously as they progress throughout the scheme. There is a PDP template available in the information zone, but you're also welcome to use whichever templates work for both you and the trainee. And then after that, you've got various different sections. So you've got space to detail any required improvements, so the areas that the trainee could be doing things better. So this is a space for some constructive feedback. Where any concerns have been identified, so say the trainee was not making satisfactory progress on the attendance section, you might want to outline how you expect those to be addressed. So again, using that sort of SMART objectives here. Summarise the trainee's performance and progress over the period generally. Any recognition of achievements and progress made. This is celebrating successes. They know what they're doing well as well as what they can be improving on, and any agreed actions. And then finally, there's space for trainee to put comments here. And then importantly, once you're finished review, please do make sure you mark the review is completed by using this little tick box at the bottom here. And then once you're done, you can save it. And then this is what it looks like once you've completed a competency. So you can see here, it shows you which of the sections of that review have been sort of signed off. And you can see here we've got all ticks apart from the one which was the attendance expectations that we said there was not satisfactory progress against. If for whatever reason a trainee has not made satisfactory progress against one or more areas, you can go back into the review and edit it later. So say they're a bit behind on their competencies, for example. So you don't sign it off in one review, however, they later then make up to that target and they make up their progress. You can go into the review and simply edit it and change that. So if we change this one to yes, again, scroll down to the bottom, click save, and it updates. And you can see the status here is now complete. So the format of the reviews is exactly the same for the rest of year one. Once they have finished their probation, they've completed their final probation review and have moved into year two, it becomes a performance review. So the main difference is that they are less regular, so they are every 6 months rather than every 2 months. And they are not quite as extensive, so they don't have the additional sections on the end. So if I show you performance review 1, so you can see you've got the main sections here in terms of competencies, work performance, conduct, academic attainment and personal development, but you don't have those additional sections in terms of outlining improvements, agreed actions, etc. at the end. But the general format is exactly the same. Click back onto reviews here. And that's how you update your trainees' probation reviews. There is further guidance on this in the information zone. And particularly about what to do if your trainee is not progressing with their probation reviews and if you have any concerns about your trainee's performance on the scheme. Hi, this is a video showing you how to view your trainee's academic record through Geni. So when you first log into Geni, you'll be taken to the main dashboard. To go to a summary of your trainee's academic record, you click on the My Trainees tab on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see all the trainees assigned to your profile here as a placement or program manager. Click on the respective trainees drop-down box in the right-hand corner here. And click on academic record. So that will take you directly to it. And you can see at a glance here a summary of the modules that the trainee is completing during the scheme. So the first thing you'll see is the overall summary for each qualification. So you can see this is for the postgraduate certificate in healthcare leadership that they'll be completing in year 1. You can see the final result of this course overall. So you can see here is a pass, which is in green. You can see that they've passed all academic components as part of that, any failures that they had within that, and any comments. And then below that, if you click on show modules, you can show a breakdown of the individual assignments or exams within that course. So you can see here we've got 3 modules as part of this course, and you can see on the right hand side here the grade received for each course and whether it's a distinction or a merit. You can also see here some of these grades are provisional, so this may be the case if the trainee has received a provisional grade, but it needs to be ratified by an exam board. So you can also see that down the bottom here, and then the date in grey in the bottom left is the date that they completed the assignment or the exam. You can see fails show up as red, so you can see this one here was a fail, but again it's provisional, so this may be updated. We would recommend trainees use this section to keep track of their overall grades and to enable you as a manager to kind of keep in the loop with their academic progress as well. Otherwise you don't get sent direct oversight of your trainees' grades as a manager. If we can hide the modules again, you can also see the second year, and again you can see a summary. So just to show you what it looks like, the final result of this course is a fail, so again it comes up in red here, and you can show a breakdown of the modules below here. Some trainees may be exempt from certain modules, exams or assignments, so you can see here module 4, this trainee has been put as exempt, so that comes up as a nothing in there. You as a manager do have access to edit these as well, so I can show you what it looks like. You can see if you put in a result of a fail, it asks for the date of the exam, whether it's provisional, the mark, and any comments. Again, the trainee may want to put any feedback they received as part of the assignment, or if it was a failed assignment, perhaps when they're resubmitting or resitting the exam. Click save there. So that's how you view your trainee's academic record. Hi, this is a video showing you how to view the My Documents section of your trainee's Geni profile. So when you log in, you'll be taken to the main dashboard. You need to click on My Trainee on the left-hand menu. That will show you all the trainees assigned to your profile, so the trainees that you're a manager for. You need to go to the trainee that you're trying to view the document section for. Click on the drop-down box on the right-hand side of the screen here. Click on Documents, and you can see all the documents in the Trainees folder on Geni. So you can see here, you can click on the document and that will download it. You can see the date that it was uploaded, the size of the document, who it was uploaded by. So you can see this one was uploaded by you as a manager. And then you can click on edit if you wanted to change anything with documents. So you can change the file, you can change the name of the document, and you can also change the permissions on it. So you can see this one has read edit access because it is the trainee's orientation plan. But for certain documents, you may want it that the trainee can access read only and can't edit it, or that it's something only you can view as a manager. And you can update that there. To add a new document, it's really easy. Click on the new document button on the top right hand corner here. and it's exactly the same. So click on choose file, upload the file that you would like to submit, create a name for it. So this is what it will be called on the folder. You can add a description of the document if you like, and again, add those permissions and upload, and you're done. Hi, this is a video showing you how to view and approve your trainees' Flexi placement on Geni. As a rule of thumb, we would recommend that the program manager is the one to sign off a trainee's Flexi placement on Geni, because a program manager will have oversight of the trainee across the entire scheme, so we'll be able to support them with their reflections and learning after they return from Flexi placement, as well as before they go on Flexi placement. So to view your trainee's proposal on Geni, click on the My Trainees tab on the left-hand side of the screen. Click on the respective trainee whose Flexi placement proposal you'd like to view, and select from the drop-down box Flexi placements, like that. You'll then be able to see any proposals that the trainee has submitted on Geni. You can see there's only one here. It may be that the trainee has more than one. So particularly if they're pursuing a number of different options, it may be that they have a few different proposals in draft. So you can see here a summary of the Flexi placement proposal. So you can see the name of the host organisation. This is a made-up organisation. You can see the date they are proposing to go on Flexi from, so the 1st of September, and the date to. Flexi placement should be 2 months or 8 weeks, although we do take into account things like annual leave and any academic activity that falls during that time, so it may be slightly longer to account for that. You can also see the status of the proposal, so you can see this one has been submitted to you as a manager for approval, but like I said, it may be that it's in the draft stage and that it may not be complete and ready for your approval yet. And you can also see here LDP approval. LDP stands for Local Delivery Partner, and it's the old name for the regional academies. So the regional leadership academy teams also will assure and sign off a trainee's Flexi placement, ideally after the manager has approved it. So you can see on the right hand side for each proposal various actions. So you can see here we've got one that's view or edit Flexi placement proposal, and that's the one we want to click on. So this will show you more details of the proposal. So you can see you've got details of the host organisation, so the name, but also the address and the name of the contact that the trainee has been using there, as well as an email address and a bit about the organisation, which may be taken from the organisation's website or their job advert. You can see the location of the Flexi here. So again, LDP is just the region. You can see this one is in London. However, this trainee is normally based in the Southwest region. This then prompts the trainee to provide a rationale for why the Flexi placement is outside their normal region. It is absolutely fine for trainees to go outside their region for a Flexi placement. However, it must be at no cost to the NHS. So you can see here the simple rationale is that the officers are based in London. The trainee will be living with their family during this time, so it'll be at no cost to the NHS. You've then got key dates, so as it was in the summary, the start and end date of the Flexi. You've got details of any proposed annual leave during this period, including how many working days that affects. You've got the end date of the current placement, so that's their placement before going into Flexi, and the start date of their next placement after Flexi. Please note they may not be the next day after the trainees finish the Flexi, as they may decide to take annual leave in between finishing placements. Then you've got the meat of the proposal, which is the aims and objectives section. So this will probably be the longest section. So you've got the trainees' aims and objectives of the placement. You have got a section asking the trainee to explain the reason for choosing this Flexi placement and how it links to their personal development plan. So it could be something about the organisation's reputation, the skills they use, the nature of the work they do. You've got a section asking about the key learning objectives, any competencies to be developed during the Flexi placement. As a rule of thumb, we'd suggest trainees to be looking at maybe sort of 3 to 5 competencies to achieve in a Flexi. Any more is obviously fantastic, but it is quite short amount of time, 2 months. Benefits of the placement to the NHS. So are there any skills that the trainee expects to be learning on their flexi placement, and how will they bring that back into the NHS? And then also of the benefits of the placement to the trainee. So it may be that they will develop their personal network, they will learn new skills, it will help them grow in confidence. You've then got the section for the practical arrangements, and this is where we will be looking for some documents to be uploaded. So there is the statement of commitment from the flexi placement, which outlines their commitment and understanding of hosting a trainee. The trainee will need to get that signed by the Flexi placement manager and an executive sponsor from the Flexi organisation. You, as a programme placement manager, do not need to sign that off. The trainee also needs to upload a job description or role summary from the Flexi placement organisation. And then they will also be required to present a proposal of their Flexi to their local leadership academy, and there is a space to upload that there as well. You can then see at the bottom the progress of the proposal, so what stage of authorisation it's at. So you've got a section for trainee comments, so you can see here they're just very excited to spend their flexi at the consultancy. And there's a space for manager comments, the status of the proposal, so you can see this one has been submitted to manager. And again, as I said before, the local leadership academy approval as well, which currently is no. So if you've got a proposal that's submitted to you as a manager and you want to update the approval of this, you scroll back to the top, click on Edit Flexi Placement Proposal, and this will open up the form to be edited. Scroll down to the bottom back to that proposal section, the progress section, sorry, and you can see here you can now put in any comments, so approve it or not, and maybe a rationale of why. And then click on the drop down manager status box here and change it to approved. If you're happy to approve it in principle, but there are some elements outstanding. So for example, you can see here the trainee hasn't uploaded a statement of commitment or a job description. You may want to approve it with conditions. This will then prompt another box, which is the conditions of that approval. And you might want to outline what those are. So trainee to upload a job description, for example. Once you're happy with that, you can click approve, and then you can see it changes that on the main page here, so approved with conditions. And that is how you view and update your trainee's flexi placement proposal. Hi, this is a video of how to view and update any surveys that are linked to your trainee's profile on Geni. So as part of their time on the scheme, trainees may use surveys that are uploaded into Geni for various reasons. One of the main ones being to request attendance at a conference. So to view all the surveys for your trainee's account, click on the My Trainee tab on the left-hand side of the screen. Go to the respective trainee, click on the drop-down box to the right of their profile and click on Surveys. You'll then be able to see a list of all the surveys that are open for them as a trainee. So you can see here, this is the conference attendance one for 2022. You can view the survey in more detail, so either by clicking view here or just simply clicking the name of the conference, and this will take you into the survey itself. So you can print this if you'd like to. So you see some of the details here about how to book a conference, and you can see links to each individual sections here. So the trainee will have similar access to this as well. So they would fill in the sections about the conference request. But you can see here there's a section for manager authorization and comments. So if your trainee is looking to book attendance at a conference, they may ask you to fill in this section, in which case simply click into it. And you have a little bit of a summary here. So there's a simple yes/no authorization, second option, the date you've authorized it, your name as a manager, your roles, whether you're a placement or a program manager, and any comments. So maybe some comments in support of the attendance of the policy or why you're not supporting the request. And then you'd click save and next page, but you would leave other bits for the correct individuals to fill in. And then that's the same principle for any survey that comes up on the profile. So that's how you complete surveys on your trainees Geni.